Scave was playing Emergency Response, Liberty County in Roblox, evading the police in his Tesla Model Y. He was escaping for about 20 minutes, going at very high speeds. The roads were mostly empty, and the police officer had a big challenge catching up. Suddenly, Scave lost control of his Tesla and went off the road, where he crashed into rocks. The police officer followed his path and crashed into the rocks too, before both of their cars rolled over. Declan was called to respond to a call, so he turned on his police lights and siren and started heading toward the call. As he was going at high speed, an oncoming vehicle crossed the double yellow line and crashed head-on into Declan. Declan flipped 2 times before he came to a complete stop. The other vehicle flipped 3 times based on Declan's info. Brian was playing BeamNG Drive, driving an ETK 800 when his friend suddenly said, "I bet you won't floor it." Guess what Brian did? He floored it. As he was going at high speed through the curves, he lost traction and went off-road, where he hit jumps and rocks, damaging his bumpers and car body after he rolled over a couple of times. His car was totaled after the collision, but he said they got out safe. Luke was driving a 2018 Mercedes E350D in Forza Horizon 4. He was driving at high speed when he approached a curve while a Lamborghini was overtaking him. The Lamborghini hit an oncoming bus before it hit Luke, who was pushed off the road. Luke flew and slid for a pretty long time before he managed to stop his car. Yan was driving a Tesla Model 3 in Roblox, Prince's Risborough, England. While driving through England roads, he had to avoid multiple parked vehicles on the road. When he saw a clear road ahead, he floored the gas pedal, but suddenly an oncoming vehicle appeared. They crashed head-on at high speed, creating a massive impact. Joe 12 was playing BeamNG Drive, driving a late model stock car in a race. As they were going through the curve, he made contact with a driver who lost control. The other driver spun out in front of other racers, and Joe failed to keep his car under control and spun out into barriers. Even though Joe didn't cause this collision, he ended up with the worst damage out of all the drivers. Sean Collin was playing GTA 5 RP, driving a Lamborghini Huracan when suddenly, a guy driving some kind of golf cart at crazy speeds crashed into him. The person flew off the cart. They started talking about it, trying to resolve the collision. They cuffed the person because he was acting weird. Soon after, the person started fleeing on foot. They started chasing him. He then went down to the canals, where Sean's friend took care of him. I guess we all know what he meant by that. This submitter sent us security cam footage of a truck that was unloading some cargo in the middle of the road. All of a sudden, a gray cabrio crashed into it at full speed. It also hit a parked car on the side of the road, creating a massive mess in the area. You can see those bricks flying everywhere. Sean Collins sent us another GTA 5 clip where he was driving a sports car at extremely high speeds. He was traveling at around 280 kilometers per hour when he drove over a narrow road, which sent him into the air. He then crashed into electric poles and some power lines that were there due to the train track. He landed on the train tracks, and then he showed us the damage to his vehicle. I guess we can say Michael's quote, "This was a nice car." Sean was driving a black sedan in GTA 5 with his friend. They were speeding through a city when a car merged into their lane. That caused Sean to fly through his windshield before he fell under his car. He quickly revived himself with a medic kit he had. They then continued driving at high speeds in the town. Soon after, a car failed to yield to them, and they T-boned it. In this clip, Sean was responding to a call with his coworker. As they were driving at around 300 kilometers per hour, they suddenly crashed, even though there was nothing ahead. Based on what Sean told us, it was a smartphone in the road which caused this heavy crash. Ollie was playing BeamNG Drive, driving in snowy conditions. He was overtaking multiple vehicles when suddenly an oncoming car appeared on a narrow road. As he tried to avoid it, he lost control on a slippery surface. He went off-road where he crashed into trees and rolled over. Wiley Moe was driving a BMW M5 in BeamNG Drive. He was driving like a typical BMW driver, going at high speeds, sliding through traffic, and not using blinkers, of course. As he was driving through the city at high speeds, he lost control on a curve, flew off the road after hitting a curb, and then he rolled over. Ollie was driving in BeamNG Drive. As he was driving behind a white Volkswagen, the Volkswagen failed to yield to an approaching Mercedes. It got T-boned. Ollie's Tesla recorded everything, and he gave the footage to a police officer. Ollie sent us dashcam footage of a Supra crash. He was driving his car when suddenly a Toyota Supra that was overtaking him crashed into a vehicle that was coming from a side road. After they collided, they also hit an oncoming Mercedes Sprinter. Slow sent us crazy collision footage. He was driving in BeamNG Drive when suddenly an oncoming pickup truck crashed head-on with an SUV ahead of Slow. Sadly, we didn't receive any aftermath footage, so you can only see the collision in slow motion before our submitter's camera died. Ollie was playing BeamNG Drive as a police officer, chasing a BMW. As the driver was fleeing, he overtook a vehicle, and as he was merging back into his lane, he crashed into an oncoming vehicle. That caused Ollie to crash into the BMW that he was chasing before he lost control and crashed into an electric pole. Camden sent us footage from the NASCAR 2003 game. Racers were going through a curve when one of them made contact with other racers, causing him to lose control and leading to a massive wreck. You can see this guy rolling like crazy. Man, I can't imagine what that driver must have been going through rolling like that.